Okay, so this has been a difficult task for me because I'm really a people person. I think I chose the coaching profession because it puts me with people every day, and I know that for me, when I get isolated, it's harder for me to be compelled to do the things that I want to do for myself. When I was an athlete, I always wanted to be around the team, and when I got around the team every year, I just felt this enthusiasm, this life, this excitement from everybody, and I really feed off that a lot, and I like to put myself in that position. So the last couple of weeks have been kind of tough for me. I certainly have enjoyed being around my family more and being around Penny, and it's been a stressful time for Kathleen in her profession, but we've still had really good family times. But to try to get really focused and think back on the experiences with these seniors, it's been hard to get ready to try to say the things that I want to say, to convey their importance to me. I went back and watched some of the old footage and slideshows and things of the years that they were here. And specifically, I just watched the slideshow from their freshman year, and that brought back a lot of memories about the kids that were seniors when they were freshmen, and the experiences that these kids had and the kids they got to meet. Of course, not all these kids are four-year seniors, so some of them weren't freshmen at the same time. But it really helps to remind me what this experience is like and what these kids have done. So I'm going to try to go through and highlight a couple of things that that I've seen from these people that makes them special to me, and just bring some light on what they did. So I'll start with Erika. Erika did not have the conventional path of a four-year college swimmer. She came to the school without really being recruited, although her ability level was definitely high enough to be a part of this program. So when she got here, we had to go through and look through her eligibility, and she'd been doing a lot of swimming internationally, and so she was sitting out for a while we were figuring out what her eligibility was going to look like. And I remember when she started out, we had to send her down to the shallow into the recplex for a couple of months, and she had to swim by herself. I couldn't coach her, I couldn't give her any feedback, and that was tough. Erika likes to feed off that competitive environment, and definitely needed that, and she was patient, and she put in that work, and she waited until she got to be a part of the team. And it took a couple semesters to kind of figure out how to get her to be ready at the right times to go fast. She was ready, usually as soon as she got a chance to race, she was ready to go, and in some of those early meets was very competitive. And through a couple of years, I remember in Hawaii, one year having to book a flight late because not knowing what her winter training plan was going to be like was an obstacle. And there's just a lot of things. She got the concussion, the one season as soon as she had just kind of gotten training well. And then even this past year, she elected to stay home for a semester to kind of just get things organized for herself personally. But she definitely in the end figured out what it's all about, and how to come to the pool and do the things she could do at the pool, and do some things right away from the pool, and see the big picture. And we were finally able to have a really mature conversation about what she was going to need and what she needed to do. And if something wasn't going right on her end or on my end, we communicated about it. And it was really a process that I really enjoyed in the end, to work with Erika and to, work well together. I knew I'd gotten better at working with her. She'd got better at working with me. And, she put up her best results. She was able to just, let go of the fact that some things might not be perfect in her preparation, and some things may not be perfect about each race, but she put together really good performances this season. And so when I'm looking at what you guys come away from the sport with, I really don't want you to come away from the sport thinking that if you just grind harder all the time that you're going to succeed, because you can't grind for your whole life. I mean, everybody's trying to find a way to, value the present and do what they can in the present to be as fulfilled and as happy as they can, and hopefully do some things over time that can set them up to be successful in the long run. And I know that we were successful with that with Erika. To boot, entertaining to work with, Erika's sense of humor and ability to be direct, it was refreshing once I got used to it. And so for her to be able to be honest and open and call people out and just admit when it wasn't her day, I mean, it's something that I eventually appreciated. So thank you, Erika. Please, reflect back on all of this, positive and negative, and use it in your life. We were definitely enhanced by having you in our program, and I wish you the best. Moving on, Josey. Josey, my connection to that family goes back decades, and I've shared some of that with you all. And part of the reason I shared that was because I knew it'd be a lot to share all right at the end. But Josey was a little baby when I was in high school swimming for her mom, and her mom definitely inspired me to be the best person I could be in the sport. I'd had other coaches that developed my skills in swimming, but I could already tell early on that the way that Josey's mom coached me, she was very appreciative of what I could bring as a leader and as a person to the team, and she obviously recognized my swimming ability. But when it came to thinking about coaching Josey, it was a pleasure to think about that, but at the same time it was a lot of pressure on Josey to step up and to be able to deliver the amount of work that I expected. Coming out of high school, I wasn't really interested in Josey. She hadn't shown that she was going to grind, and do the work that she needed to do to just survive in our program. And it wasn't that she didn't work hard, it's just to be blunt. I mean, her natural ability level was lower than some of the other kids. So we had a pretty open conversation about what it was going to take after she'd gone a year to college without swimming. She missed swimming. And we sat down in the summer before her sophomore year, which was her first year with us, and I just laid it flat out that she was going to have to be at her 100% to even be on this team. And some of the kids on the team were at 50% and were a part of the team. And she didn't bat an eye, and she came in and I talked with the club coach back home, which was from my old club, and I said, we've got to track Josey and make sure she's ready. And she came in, and her first semester she dropped 9 seconds off her 500 free. She just went berserk, and everything looked like it was going to just be a honeymoon forever, and it was just going to be this euphoric experience which we all dream about. And Josey was passionate about coming in and doing that work every day, and wasn't fearful of suffering that first year. And as often happens, once she had that initial success, it becomes a grind. You're not going to drop 9 seconds every season, and so going into repeat seasons, the honeymoon was over, and it was doing that same amount of work to trim little bits of time, and then Josey had a little misfortune, and she broke her foot, and it just got hard, and she was living in a house with a couple other girls that were hitting a little bit of a plateau, and it was a tough year and a half for her. And I think the biggest thing I'm proud of with Josey is that she was able to be just easygoing enough to just let those things slide, and to keep coming back and keep doing the work. And I honestly think that Josey had mostly given up on good results coming from this season, but the whole idea of results building up over time, and you earning results, and then they don't always come when you expect them. I think Josey just kept her head in the game long enough to see those things come to fruition this year. So to see her keep her head in the game and wait, and go those times she did this year, and get down to 505 and the 500 this year at mid-season, that was really something she earned 2 years ago. But she didn't give up. She stayed in the game. And so to see her, finish some of those races she did this year, and I knew that she really earned that 2 years ago. She earned that her first year here. It just took time for her to mature enough to access that ability. It was just so rewarding to see her stay the course, make it through, and do that. And now she has so much to give back. She has so much experience in life to go through hard times, and to go through challenges, and have that confidence and really know what she's made of. So, Josey, I'm so proud. I hope we made this a great experience, and it was even better than you hoped. I know for me it was. I wish it could have gone another couple months, but that's how it is. So thank you, Josey, and thank you, Dana. Oh, Niels. Well, to have an athlete that you only get for 1 year, and then when you only get them for 1 year, you only get them for 1 day of a national meet. It just, you guys know I'm all about analogies. When you're getting into a relationship with somebody, and you're only enjoying it, it's like a honeymoon period. And if something happens that cuts that relationship short, and you just end up wondering about what could have been, that's a little bit how I feel about Niels. Although I feel like I know what could have been, and I know what was, but there's just a little bit of a bitter taste there. I wish you'd have come sooner, Niels. I wish you'd have come a year sooner. You just had to go win another NAIA title before you could come over. But Niels was at the Belleville program, and we discussed bringing him over sooner, even back when Maxime came over. But Mandy just kind of said, Niels has unfinished business. He doesn't want to leave. He wants to win that NAIA title. But at the same time, when the time came for him to come over, and he had finished his 3 years there and was going to do his master's degree, we tried to put together a plan, and I wasn't 100% sure that he was going to make a big impact at our level. I knew that I'd watched his races at NAIAs, and I knew he was a talented swimmer, but I just wasn't sure that he could make that jump to push us, and that's where I had faith in what Mandy said, that he was a big gamer, and he was going to have ultimate respect for what we were doing, and he was going to commit to what we were doing, and so we began, and I got to see him in the pool, and it was pretty messy, to start out, and I thought, it's kind of like walking into a house that's falling apart and thinking about what it's going to look like when you're done. But Niels went to work, and to take an old dog and teach new tricks, to take somebody that's been doing things a certain way for a long time, and to have the open-mindedness for him to just, let his guard down and do whatever we were working on and make those evolutions. I mean, to see some of the excitement that Niels had some of those days in training where something would click and he'd figure something out. It was just like coaching a freshman. So it was really a pleasurable experience, to take all these actual freshmen this year, to have these 30 new kids, and then also have this senior that was one of those new kids. It was just a special opportunity, I think, for everybody. So, I think Niels might have been nominated for Most Improved, Newcomer, MVP, because he kind of was all those things in one. And, the one kind of shortcoming we talked about in bringing Niels in was, a little bit of stubbornness that maybe he could, get, I guess, too emotional in a certain situation, and it might cost him in either his performance or his impact to the team. And so that was something that we were guarded against when Niels came in. And I can honestly say that, to see him grow in the way that he never let that get him, he never was stubborn for longer than, a small period of time before he was back in moving forward. One of the funniest things to watch was his relationship with Leticia in practice, and how they couldn't tolerate each other for a long time. It was like an oil and water thing, and then as we got into the last of the season, I could never get him out of the same lane. Even though I think Leticia, she hated it, it was predictable suffering. It was, if I go in the lane with Niels, I can blame it on Niels that it's his fault. But there were just so many fun things about the relationship. In the end, I just really appreciate it when somebody brings 100% every day. I really appreciate it when somebody leaves the pool and is kind of evaluating what they did that day and comes back the next day ready to do better. I've said it before, and it just really fulfills me as a coach when somebody wants to go through that process with me and it feels like we're meeting in the middle, or even they're coming further. Every time an athlete, exceeds my expectation, it just raises my bar to give me an expectation to meet them. So I really appreciate that. I know a lot of the feelings I have for you are a little bit unsaid, and hopefully you could tell in all the moments in training and that we had, joking around at the pool, that there was a really strong respect there. My goal for all of you guys is to carry your experience as an athlete into life, and I know Niels will be capable of being very successful as long as he composes himself the same way he did this season, and is able to take success, disappointment, growth opportunities in the same way that he did this year. So really proud of you, Niels. The things you did impacted this program more than you'll know, and so I just want to say one more time, thank you, Dankeschön, vielen Dank, and you're going to be really successful in life. Kamila. I remember, the prospect of getting Kamila. I remember looking at her times. I remember thinking about how she could impact our program when she came in. And I remember getting her into training and just, she just went at it every single day. And that was the easy part, I think. That was something she'd become really good at. But she also was under a big strain in a transition coming here. I remember her and Erika were roommates, and they weren't necessarily alike. They swam like events, and I think as time went on, in the later years, they learned to appreciate each other. But at the very beginning, Kamila was transitioning into totally different training structure, totally different schedule. She was working a job on campus. We had gotten her kind of late in the recruiting process, so it was a big whirlwind for her to come in. So it's almost like the freshman year just flew by, as just trying to adapt as fast as she could. And she had really gotten into a good routine of training back home, and it really performed at a high level. And I think for any kid that comes over here from a different country and has to adapt to a place where everything's different, you don't always get, improved results right away. I remember her freshman year, two things that stood out were the Mizzou meet was her first kind of big show, and she missed probably 5 of her 7 turns in her 200 free and still went 154, which she was devastated about. But it was I think Morgan was 201 at that meet, and Morgan ended up in the national finals of the 200 free, later on. And so, but the pressure was there for her to perform so well. The other example was our 800 free relay where her goggles fell off, and she still split 152, and we were all American, and but at that time, the pressure she felt to do well was so high. And so I think the next couple of years for Kamila, it was to try to find that enjoyment and to try to recognize that she was doing really great work, and she was succeeding, and she was doing what a lot of people never do, and she had been doing that for a while. So kind of the big growth moments that I'm really proud of were when Kamila found a way to work in different environments and found a way to challenge herself and was self-motivated to rise above and beyond what was expected every day. She always wanted to go push herself with the hardest group, and develop in the sport. She definitely had a couple of weaknesses that she was a little bit hesitant to go after, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But I think the biggest transition I was really proud of was last season when she came in. There was kind of a turnover last season where you could see it happen in the 800 relay at the Nationals, where some of our other girls that had been at a higher point, in previous seasons weren't looking as hot, and we came into the 800 relay, and the previous year we've been fighting to win that relay. And Kamila led that relay off with a 149.2, which was her best performance ever, and gave us a shot, to contend in that relay again. And we were right at the same level we'd been in previous years in that relay, and she was able to kind of be a backbone for that group. And I think it just helped to show her that whole time she was that strong. She was always that strong. But when we came into this year, there were even bigger tests, for her. One of the big things that helped her to find that happiness and that excitement and that enthusiasm about swimming was to find a different training style with John, and to discover more things about herself and to be self-directed last season. And she really enjoyed that and appreciated that. And I definitely want, Kamila, I want you to hold on to that in your life. I want you to always be seeking what you can find about yourself, because that's something that I think you and John were able to discover. But this year, when that was kind of ended abruptly and John was gone, the ball was in Kamila's court to try to figure out what she was going to do with the situation. And she was a little bit hesitant and a little bit leery and to work directly with me, because that had been tough in the past, and we'd had some mixed results, and I think she learned really quickly, and I think the ball was in her court to decide what she was going to make of this season. And there were multiple times where there would be a little bit of a conflict, and it would have an opportunity to dissolve and move forward, or we could choose to dwell on it and get stuck on it. And over, Kamila would come back and give me the sign that she was going to move forward, whether that was, talking about something totally different and doing some sort of artistic project for the team to help things be better, where she's doing door tags or bag tags, or whether she's designing a t-shirt. It just showed me that she had the full bigger picture, and sure enough, the workouts would come back in line as well. And I think that big transition I saw was last season, after the season when Kamila came in and said that she really wanted to try to have a role in guiding this team, and saw a responsibility to help this team, be better and to take care of these girls. Now, there were also some conversations this year where I specifically remember the conversation a couple of times where, there was a frustration in the moment, and Kamila didn't really remember those conversations, and I said, it's easy to lead when things are going well for you. It's hard to lead when they're going bad for you. And the really big turnaround I saw was at conference this year, and at Last Chance this year, when, at conference things were not going well for Kamila. She was not happy with how she was doing, and yet if you saw her around the deck, not specifically in the moment she was in her swims, she was a leader. She was engaging with people. She was having fun conversations. She was smiling. And, that was a new experience. And then I think that didn't quite come full circle until we went another week, and she was able to just let go and actually refocus on her swimming again for a week. And she didn't have to be the leader of the whole team. She didn't have to process both of those things at the same time. And, in a really short period of time, she was able to just look inward and just get in control of her skill set and relax a little bit and focus a little bit. And we went down to Springfield, and we just had a great couple days. And that was such a pleasure to watch. That's my dream with every swimmer, is that they're just able to get on the block and just, have their mind, their spirit, their body be in one place at the same time and just put together a perfect swim. And Kamila was able to do that, in a moment that the environment is not ideal, to be alone at a time trial. But, I think that's the mastery that we're looking for in the sport. She carried that through the nationals. It was obviously, it was going to be a really fun week. She had made the finals in the 200 free, which, first time she ever did that, and possibly the most testing year for her. So, it was never about performances. Kamila's performances to date, some of her very best performances were before she came to Lindenwood. But if you look at the personal growth that she had and the performances she was able to put up at the end while managing, her impact as a role player on the team, it was so special to see. And we didn't get to sit down and process it after the fact as much as I would have liked to, but I know we will, and I'm really proud. And I want to thank you, Kamila, for your trust and your resilience and your opportunity that you gave me to be better over and over again. So, thank you. Hola, Tomala. Ola is a special person to work with because, you know, she's pretty silent, but yet you can pick up a lot of emotion and feelings from her, and so, you know, working with her first year was an absolute pleasure. The definition of low maintenance athlete. She just came in, did her work quietly, didn't need anything in return. One of our top trainers, top performers, she spoiled us to death. She led off relays, put us in positions to make finals at nationals. She broke our school record in the 200 back. She broke records in 100 fly, 100 back. Sophomore year, broke records in the 2IM. And so we were definitely spoiled, you know, to have her in the program. And I think over the next year and a half with her, you know, as she adapted to just being an older swimmer, you know, she hit a little bit of a plateau. And, you know, it's not abnormal in our sport. It's something that we work through all the time, and honestly, in the end, I feel more fulfilled when we come out of those than if we never hit them. You know, because if a swimmer is lucky enough to not hit one of those in the sport, they may not be prepared for that plateau in life that might be coming. So, you know, we hit one of those plateaus with Ola, and I think it's just a natural thing about when you do things well for a long time. As she transitioned into preparing for the rest of her life and getting life experience and working and traveling and doing other things, you know, she wasn't as specifically prepared to swim fast. And so kind of finishing up the sophomore year, going into the junior year, the results fell off a little bit. Some of that newness of being here and proving herself was gone. You know, some of her teammates had moved on and the team was different. And, you know, that's when we really get to see, you know, what a person's made of, what their relationship is like with swimming, and how they respond. And so you could see it start to turn a corner coming into the end of last year, where we went to nationals and Ola hadn't qualified. And she was on relays, and we needed her. I mean, we really needed her to swim as fast as she could to support the team. And she did that. She tried her best, but she knew she wasn't where she could have been. And, you know, there was a moment where we took Jared last year to do some relays and to help the team and to infuse some of that energy in the team. And he did that, you know, in an amazing way. And it came down to the last day, and we had Jared do a time trial in the warm-up pool. And I told him if he won his best time with 100 free, you know, that we'd put him on the prelim relay the next day. And he lit it up with his best lifetime swim, you know, with a stopwatch in the shallow end, and there were a lot of people watching. And that inspired Ola. She went down, she time trialed the 200 back. The time wasn't good. You know, it was one of those, proving moments where just because your mind's in the right place doesn't mean you can do something. You know, your body, you have to get your body ready. And I think that, you know, sunk in with Ola, that to really be ready to perform that next year, there was going to have to be the physical work done and the sacrifices made. And so when she came in this season, she really understood what she was going to need to do to be ready to actually swim fast again. And, you know, with Ola's personality, she's not the most extreme person you've ever met, so things take a while to get going. So that snowball started to move and started to roll and started to move faster as we went through the season. And, you know, wham, John and Mandy are gone. And, you know, she had had a good relationship with them and trained well with them and was excited about working with them. So big obstacle number one. You could see her dig her heels in and just go, well, I guess it's up to me to play a bigger role in the season. And I remember specifically that night that we talked to the team, I could see Ola she just had this look on her face like, I'm not, you know, I'm upset, but I'm going to be okay. And you could see her start to work harder day by day by day as she saw that the ball was in her court even more so. And not that she enjoyed that, but she was confident to take that on. And then, she ran headfirst into Maxime's elbow. And, I remember her sitting there with her forehead open, bleeding, just saying, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, and wanting to get back to work. And I think, you could just see what we were dealing with. You could see what kind of person she was, that it's just, she can make big things not be big. And she got even more fit when she was out of the pool for that period of time. She came into the jury meet, I think she swam one day before that, and went, the best in season times, that she'd gone for years. And then, mid-season put up the best time she had in 2 years. We were pretty confident those were national times. And then, I think the worst and the best things, happened at the end, I think, for Ola. And they were the worst things in the short term. Absolutely the worst things. For this season, they were the worst things. We were right on that bubble. I called her after one last chance meet to go to another last chance meet and to try to trim her times, and that was a really testing emotional moment for me to just give her a half a day's notice and drive her up to Indiana and try to swim fast. I mean, for everybody that's swam, that knows the buildup you have for a big performance and how you like to be in a routine for that performance. I mean, to just call somebody up and say, let's go fast tomorrow. Ola had trained and lifted, a day before that. And so it was a very somber trip to ride with her and stay in a crappy hotel and kind of know what could happen, As a coach, I'm not naive enough to think that you just try to do something and pull it out of your butt. I mean, it doesn't happen. So to take her through that was something where I knew we were going on a journey, and I knew that we were potentially going to be disappointed. And, I made sure to say to her in those moments what that meant for her to do that, because I knew how big of a deal that trip was. And in the end, that's what we had. We had that trip. We had that memory of, how deep she could go. It all turned out, and we made it to nationals, and we were catching our breath and getting ready to come in and have a great week. And she did that. I mean, she lit up her 50 fly split. Was the fastest in program history on the 200 medley relay. We broke the school record by 2 seconds, and Ola was a huge part of that. And that was something we had talked about in advance, that she had the potential to do that. We were in a position in the 400 medley to come back and break the school record again at night. And I guess we'll never know what time we were going to get in that 100 and 200 back to finish that meet. But I think I know, and I know Ola knows, what she accomplished and what she overcame. And I've had a couple other athletes that go through a similar experience where they don't quite feel like they get the moment that they want. But I just want everybody to recognize, and I want Ola to realize, what she did, and that, not giving up during the challenging moments and keeping on was extremely valuable. And in the long run, that's going to mean so much. So I want you to know, Ola, you've touched me, you've touched a lot of your teammates and your coaches, and I think, probably the most impressive thing has always been the way that you treat people, and the way that you respect people. You're direct, you're honest, but yet you always acknowledge the people that you're around. You're always open-minded to new things and growth, and you just create a welcoming atmosphere for everybody to be around. Thank you. Maxime, Um, Boy, Maxime, when he was recruited, came to the Belleville campus, and I remember when Mandy was coaching there, and she brought him in. She was bragging about him from day one, and he came in and really, really performed really well for them at the NAI level the first year, and we were in discussions to bring Mandy over and coach for us, and that was a pretty delicate process for her to come over, and there was a limit to how many Belleville athletes we were really wanting to bring over. It was we didn't want to I guess overstep our bounds with bringing those athletes, but so we kind of had to be really selective in that process, and she really advocated for Maxime that he would be somebody that would have the character to take that step and not only come over but even lead when he did come over. So he came over, made the step, kind of kept his head down, did the work. I think it's always been important for Maxime to prove that he belonged and that he deserved the opportunity. From the day he came in, he's been a humble person in the program. He's always done great work. He's been outstanding academically. I mean, he kind of flew a little bit under the radar, but he ended up being our student athlete of the whole program. This season had the highest GPA in the whole program as a senior. So, but I think what really is the most impressive about him is that even though he's not as outgoing as some of the other people in the team and even historically in past years, he's always been somebody that people look up to. And I think that's just because he's a doer. He wants to get the work done, get the job done. And he's been conscious to watch what's been done in front of him and see what people have done that have been successful. I know when we had some other people on the team in past years that were performing at the top, he always was watching what they were doing. When he was training with Justin, he was always, working to be the best he could and challenge Justin when he was in the program, and so he was ready to take over in that role when Justin moved on. And he certainly has, and in a lot of ways has made the leadership position his own this year. This is a special season that we had 3 captains last year, and then we just had Maxime this year. And he's definitely, given the team an experience that's been one that they can be proud of. And I know he sets the team up with high standards moving forward. Some of the moments that really stuck out that I was proud of, last year to make the national meet, Maxime really had to stay focused all the way through his conference meet. To be a breaststroker and have your big events come in the last couple of days, he's always had to be patient and focus on his preparation. He's always had plans for his events that lead him through the first couple of days of a meet so that he can peak when those events come down the pipe. So for him to make it into nationals last year was really a big accomplishment. And then not only that, he didn't race till the last 2 days of nationals, and he had a training plan that he had put together with John and Mandy to be ready for that. And when the time came, he was ready, and he made the B final with 2 breast, and he was in 16th, I believe, and Justin was in 17th. And one of the strong character moments for Maxime was he offered up that spot for Justin to swim, and thought, well, Justin's been faster, maybe he can score more, but Maxime deserved that swim, and he made it count. It wasn't that different this year when he went through the mid-season, and I specifically remember the moment where Jerry qualified for nationals and Maxime was in the lane right next to him, and Jerry's been just developing in a different path than Maxime, and Maxime had a big blow up year last year, and Jerry had it this year, and Maxime really internalized that and just looked inward to kind of bottle up that disappointment that he had, and try to be happy for Jerry, but also to be motivated to come back and make his impact. And he did that, and he was patient, and he came in, and his very last individual race as a Lion, he was the conference champion of the 200 breast, and to have that persistence and that maturity to just put all those moments together and stack them all up and be ready in the moment was just incredible. So I think for a lot of the younger athletes to look up to Maxime and see what can happen when you make a long range plan and you stay committed to it and you go through the ups and downs on the way to get there. He's just set a great example for our team. Another transition was the fact that Maxime, as a senior, had done some of the least training ever with me as a coach. So it was a big leap of faith for him to work with me and to work with the other coaches this season when he had done the majority of his training with John and Mandy. So that just shows how committed he was and how mature he was to take control of his own training and to make sure that he was still working towards his goal. And so I'm really appreciative to Maxime of your trust and your willingness to just stay the course regardless of the variables that came your way. Thank you.
Hi, I just want to say a little something about Madison Arnold. Even though I didn't get to spend much time with her, it was always a very, very good time. Maddie always had a smile on her face and a funny story to cheer people up if needed. She had a great back dive, a great announcer's voice, and is a fantastic coach. I was lucky enough to have her coach my club team, and it was just another way for me to get to know her better. One of my favorite memories is when she tried to teach me all of the swimmers' names at the Drury Invite. It took me a while to learn everyone, but Maddie was a great teacher and very, very helpful. So she helped me learn everybody's name. She also taught my daughter how to speak Australian with Rise of Lights. So we will never forget that one either. We're going to miss you so much, Maddie, and have fun in Australia. We're going to miss you being part of the team, but you won't be out of touch. I know that for sure. Thank you.
Hey Lions, Shelby Quinn here, reporting live from Wisconsin. I know we're all in really unique situations right now, and I know this banquet was not what any of us were expecting this year, but I'm excited that we've still been able to put something together to recognize all the great things that did happen this season. I know this season ended a little bit, in less than a desired way, but you guys still accomplished so much, and I'm glad we're taking time to recognize that. But with that, I just kind of wanted to say thank you. I know I've said it before, but I can't emphasize enough how grateful I am to have been able to be part of your guys' team this year. As a senior, I wasn't quite ready to be done, and I didn't think that I would get an opportunity to be part of this team again. But you guys, you brought me in though, all of us alumni coaching staff really, and you adjusted to the changes and you made us feel welcome. Working with you guys this year has taught me so much, and seeing you guys grow, it might sound cheesy, but it's made me really proud. It's hard when you're a swimmer and when you work so hard and so long for something and things don't end up working out the way you wanted them to. And trust me, your coaches feel the same way. And I definitely felt some of that this year for you guys. However, it's the best feeling in the world when all your hard work does pay off and you finally get what you deserve. And trust me, your coaches feel the same way. And I saw that from so many of you guys this year. And it was a feeling I've never really felt before. And it was great. And now for my seniors. I know some of you guys didn't get that moment this year. And though I can't know exactly how you feel, I want you to know no matter what happened or how the season panned out, you all did things I wish I was capable of doing. And you all did things that made me tear up, and you all did things that made me really proud. I'll keep this fairly short, but I could ramble on about you guys for all day. But I'll keep it short. So Maxime, I legit cried when I watched your 200 breaststroke conference. You were my breaststroke buddy when I swam, and you continuously helped me when you could. That was something that I'll never forget because you did make me better. And to see you get that payout and to see you put so much heart into that race was so inspirational. You're a great guy, and you embody quite effortlessly how to be a good teammate and a hard worker. So keep that up for the rest of your life because it'll do a lot for you. Thank you for your help, your encouragement, your feedback, and your willingness to sacrifice for this team. You really have contributed a lot. Niels, I didn't get the chance to swim with you, and I really haven't decided if I'm happy or sad about that, but I am no doubt happy that I did get to know you this year, and I got to watch some of the amazing and insane things that you did. Your 1,000 at Nationals was easily one of the most beautiful and effortless races I've ever watched, and I know the mile would have been exactly the same. Cristian would have been taking your splits, and you would have beat his school record. You're such an amazing and unique guy, and my life is better having met you, so thank you. Maddie Arnold. I know you didn't get to spend too much time as a Lion, but the time you did spend with us was well worth it, and I'm so happy you did. Seeing you always put a smile on my face. I loved watching you dive, and I loved the enthusiasm you always brought to the pool. You kind of lifted the mood when you were around. I'm lucky to have met a person like you, and I'm so glad that I forced you to sit in the front row with me in psychology because I think that kind of made us friends. Good luck with your future, Maddie. It's impossible that you don't do big things with your life. Kamila, you have made so many improvements this year, and I've loved watching how much you put into what you do. Whether it's swimming or dryland or always offering to help, design shirts, door tags, or whatever else we need, you truly give it your all. When I was your teammate, you inspired me to try the G1 intervals because for you it was no big deal, and I thought I needed to try those things too. And I saw you inspire others to follow your lead with that this year too. Whether you knew it or not, you were always making your teammates around you better. So the whole team has a lot to thank for that. You keep making the hard things in your life a no big deal sort of thing, Kamila, and you're going to do amazing things. And I can't wait to see that. So good luck. Ola, I learned a lot from you this year. You're so kind and genuine, and yet you're still so fierce and have such a strong passion and drive to succeed. You know how to manage your emotions and know that swimming is more than just a sport to get worked up or bent out of shape about. You take things one step at a time and have truly figured out how to live in the moment, embrace the good, and cherish the present. I aspire to be more like that. You are an exceptional teammate who truly loves watching others achieve their goals and break barriers. I am grateful for the time that I've had with you and all that you have taught me. Josey, my girl. I know this year was not easy. Sets were stressful and practices sometimes seemed completely ridiculous. And the end of a swimming career sometimes seems so relaxing and inviting. But I saw you fight this year. More than any other season, believe it or not. I saw you put your head down and just go for it. You put in the work day after day, even when you didn't want to. I saw you felt like you had something to prove. You had something you wanted to achieve and you went for it. I'm pretty sure I cried after every race you swam at Delta this year, and I definitely cried some more at conference too. You are so much stronger than you think. As a teammate, you pushed me to be better in and out of the water. You did that this year too. I saw it over and over and over again with your other teammates. You're an outstanding athlete, a great person, a fun-loving and encouraging teammate, and the best of friends. Keep doing amazing things, Joe. I'm excited to see where life takes you. Erika, I'm happy you came back this year. I know it was for a short time, and there were plenty of struggles along the way, but I'm proud of the way you dealt with this season. I think you proved yourself this year that you're more capable than you think. You're strong, you're passionate, you're competitive, and you have drive. You came in and you did things that other swimmers would never dream of doing. And for you, there just wasn't another option. For you, It didn't seem like there was another way to end your season. You were going to finish what you started. You came in, you set goals for yourself, and you did what you had to do to achieve them. You were a new swimmer this year, and I was so happy to see the way you looked at swimming and being a part of this team. Thank you for being there for me this season, too. You reassured me that the death glares I got while telling people to run during dry land and the dirty looks that I got as I was telling people to keep going after they missed their intervals was something I shouldn't worry too much about, because secretly you guys kind of appreciated it. So thank you for reassuring me that even though I was trying something new too, I was doing okay. Again, I'm so proud of what you accomplished. But with that, I should probably wrap things up. Again, I wanted to say thank you though. You guys were such a fun group of people to work with and be around. I can't wait to see what you all do next season. I'm expecting big, big things. I love you all. Extra love for my seniors. I know that this is a hard way to end the year, but we're all really, really proud of you. So thanks, guys, and hope your quarantining is going well.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everything's going well. Staying out of trouble and just having a good quarantine. I know that's a little difficult to do, but hey, just try not to stay bored. Thank you for the year though, you seniors. It was really great. It was an honor coaching you. I know things didn't go well at nationals and we had that whole dilemma, but we had a great conference and a great year. Really thank you for this awesome semester, being able to coach you guys. You guys were great. You were awesome. You were fun. And it was really enjoyable for me to coach you guys. So just thank you for that. Looking forward to seeing what you do in the future. Keep in contact with me. Just stay awesome. You guys are champions. And good luck. Bye.
Hello guys, Cristian here, fulfilling my duties in my last few days as an assistant coach here at Lindenwood. And well, I wanted to talk to this special class that are the seniors of the 2019-2020 season. This is a really special class for me because I was their teammate not too long ago and also their coach now. Those are Maxime, Kamila Kunka, Ola Tomala, Niels England, Erika Garcia, Josey Powell, and Madison Arnold. For most of you, it may not have been the season that you ever wished for, but I'm incredibly proud of you for allowing some of us to be part of your journey. I gotta say that at first, when everything seemed a little rocky, I was ready to step up because there was no other choice, but I don't think I would have been able to do so without a senior class like yours. Sometimes a point of reference or support is needed to feel comfortable and confident moving forward, and believe it or not, you guys were that for many teammates and even the coaching staff. It was so important for you guys to stay afloat and not seem like you were scared, and I know how hard that was for you. And even though the struggles during the season were obvious, the team and coaches were able to step up and keep moving forward because of the confidence you showed up to practice with and the clear mindset you guys had towards your goals, and that was really, really important during this season. After the events that we experienced at Nationals, I hope you guys keep acting like you did this season and that you take one of the most important things back home. And that is to enjoy every moment like if it was the last one, because you never really know. But like an important person once said, part of the journey is the end. With this said, I would really like to thank you for allowing me to keep learning from this sport through a very different perspective. And honestly, if I have made half of the impact in your career that you have made in mine, I can be more than satisfied. So I really want to thank you for that.
All right, how's it going, Lions? Your intern Kian here. I just wanted to start out this video by saying thank you to the entire team. All right, you guys have worked incredibly hard for this year and the season, and everything may not have turned out the way you wanted it, but it definitely showed at some point in this year. That was obvious to me, Cristian, Shelby, Morgan, Workman, Jason, all of us, right? We can all see the hard work you put in each and every single day, and no one can take that away from you whatsoever. That leads me into wanting to thank the seniors specifically. Having known the seniors since they started Lindenwood, it was a class we're pretty close with, and they really helped pave a smooth transition for us all to bring in and start helping when certain events took place. We were a little unsure of how it would play out, but with the seniors' guidance and everyone else's go for it attitude, we felt very welcome. It was very touching to me and everyone else in particular about working with you guys. I know every day, every morning for Dryland, I learned something new from the seniors specifically and the whole team in general. And I just want to say thank you. Right, this is going to help me in my career forever. It is never going to be something I will forget. And I hope that I was able to touch you or help you in some way, shape, or form to potentially pay back some of the knowledge you have provided me over this year. Go Lions. Never doubt what you do. It all works out in the end.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy. I wrote a little something, so here goes. Crazy to think this season is already in the books. And when I say in the books, I mean nothing will even come close to how this season played out. I am so thankful for every single one of you, and you all truly have a piece of my heart. Going through the transition of athlete to coach in just a few months was slightly intimidating, and I learned a lot about myself and others that I didn't know before, but you all made it so much fun. I can't thank you all enough for allowing me to come share my feedback and experience with you and let me be a part of your college athletic experience. I will always be thankful for my experience at LU, but this year just added to it, and I truly am so thankful for that. Right now is such a different time for everyone in the world. It's a perfect time to spend time with family, plan for the future, focus on finishing up your classes, have a little extra time to binge watch some Netflix, but don't let this time go by without reflecting on what you got out of the season, whether it be good or bad. One thing I wish I did more during my career was take time to reflect on how things happened and what I was feeling in those moments. Go back and look at race video, even if your career is over for you seniors. Relive those amazing moments and those moments we all can find where we can improve. We say it time and time again, but college swimming is only 4 years of our life, or maybe even less. It teaches you so many lessons in life, but you only benefit from those lessons if you see it in the right perspective. We are all so lucky to have Jason as a coach who sees the sport that way and truly wants the absolute best for all of us. Take time to reach out to your teammates and coaches and see how they are doing. Yes, I'm going to reference a cheesy quote, but seriously, this distance can make or break a team. But I'm so confident in what this team has and what you have achieved together, so don't forget that. I'm so proud of all of you for the accomplishments you've achieved as a team. I think I said it in every single one of my awkward team speeches at meets, but I want to leave you with this. Don't forget to be present and have an open mind in every moment, particularly those special moments, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you experience it. The friendships and connections you make with your lane buddies, roommates, inter-squad teams, and everything in between are the things you will remember, but also the things you will miss the most when it's all over. So cherish them. It was so fun watching all of you grow and improve, and that is what made coaching you all so rewarding. All of us alumni coaches are so thankful for how patient and supportive you all have been with us this season, especially since more than half of us didn't know how to use stopwatches in the beginning, but I mean, some of us came around. Thank you, seniors, for being leaders of this new team and showing them the ropes to success. You all brought something different to the table with your personalities and work ethic and have paved a very impressive path for this team to continue to follow. You all truly left your legacy, and this is something everyone will remember. Don't stop being you, and good luck in your future endeavors. Thank you, Jason, for trusting in us alumni and allowing us to continue and share our love for swimming with the team. I earned so much more respect for you and coaches everywhere that put endless time and effort into the little details that make a team great. I cannot thank you enough for everything you have taught me. I will miss you all so much next year, and I will be cheering you on and keeping up with results. Next season is now, and there's unfinished business that needs to be taken care of. So who's hungry? Love you all so much.